So hey guys and welcome back. Welcome to another live stream. And eventually I was going to sleep because of the match between Real Madrid and Manchester United. I have to wake up early in the morning in 5:36 a.m. to watch the match between Real Madrid and Manchester United because you know this fact because I'm a lover of both the clubs. So, but this report really interested. This was an interesting report. Eventually, I told you that I would not be talking more about Kylian Mbappe story, but eventually the hype is real. The clickbait is real. The views are real. So I think I decided to make a live stream. I decided to do a live stream, and so eventually, let's get on to our live stream without wasting any time. And eventually, that Kylian Mbappe has rejected Saudi Arabia at this point of time. So it is a very big report, and Kylian Mbappe has rejected Saudi Arabia. So that is amazing. That is, I think, that is the biggest news of the day. And eventually, this was going to happen. There was no wonder that this was never going to happen. And eventually, Mbappe himself wasn't amused with that, despite the fact that 700 million they were offering. It was not 700 million. It was million were including the image rights and eventually stuff like that, 100% image rights sponsorship as well. So that would have made a 700 million salary 1 year only, for 1 year only. And eventually Mbappe rejected this. So I think this is an amazing story. This transfer saga is going somewhere else, and that somewhere is nobody knows where it is going. It's only Kylian Mbappe, it's only Faisal Amari, and it's only Fiorentino Perez who know this where it is going, because it's not in the hands of PSG anymore. Because Mbappe has rejected, despite the fact PSG accepted the offer from Saudi Arabia, despite them being their the Qatari ownership versus the Saudi ownership. It's that, but eventually PSG accepted it, but Kylian Mbappe refuse this. Kylian Mbappe will not meet with any of the representatives of PSG, with any of the representatives of Al Hilal who had come to. There's a report. Yes, there is a report which came in the morning of Fabrizio Romano. That was eventually 9 to 10 hours ago. Despite Al Hilal delegation flying to no, this is the report. This is the main report which Fabrizio himself posted right now, 1 hour earlier, that despite Al Hilal delegation flying to Paris, Kylian Mbappe has rejected to negotiate with Al Hilal. Mbappe has currently no intention to open talks despite 200 million fixed salary proposal plus 100% image rights. They were offering him 100% image rights, and eventually PSG convinced that Mbappe has agreed terms with Real Madrid. So I think this is very important to see what is happening in this saga. I think things are going a different way, going in a different way, and the that way we don't know. I've spoken earlier as well that the way where it is going is only known by Fiorentino Perez. It's only Mbappe who can decide, and it's only that mastermind Fiorentino Perez who can decide where this transfer saga is going at this point of time. And I think things will happen in the future as well in some days, because PSG will come up with a reply, because PSG had accepted the deal. PSG had accepted the offer of 300 million for Kylian Mbappe, and then it was allowed by PSG to PSG to Al Hilal to discuss the personal terms agreement with Kylian Mbappe, and eventually it wasn't the case, and Mbappe has given the red signal. Mbappe has shown a red flag to Al Hilal, and eventually he has he is nothing. His future is not certain. He thinks that his future will be eventually in Real Madrid or stay at PSG this season. So I think things are happening. Things really are happening at this point of time. So I think I need to discuss more about it, because despite the fact that I was the one in my last stream as well, I spoke about that I need to discuss more about Premier League transfers, the other transfers, because if I will create hype, eventually it would automatically it would eventually hurt me when again there is a rejection, or probably he does not comes in Real Madrid. So I think this is happening, and I'll show you one of my tweet as well, which I've posted in the last. And eventually I think Al Hilal have no nothing, and eventually I think PSG will come up with an answer, and I don't know what the answer will be, because Mbappe at this point of time is certain that his future is at PSG, and PSG are certain that Kylian Mbappe will eventually has an agreement with Real Madrid for joining them in 2024. And I think probably this is the way PSG might react. PSG might even come up with something other. And eventually, this was not the French media. French media were constantly the French puppets of PSG, the mouthpieces of PSG, were eventually speaking that Kylian Mbappe will reject Saudi's offer because he wants to play in Real Madrid. He has dreams of Real Madrid. There were several leakages, several reports regarding everything regarding this saga, and for Real Madrid as well, that Real Madrid are waiting for this, Real Madrid are waiting for that, Real Madrid are waiting for time, that this time suits them, and the as far as they go in this, as deep down they go in this transfer window, the more the price of Mbappe will go down, and PSG will agree to sell him in a lower and a cheaper price. But Real Madrid eventually, I don't think so. Real Madrid want this. Real Madrid are never going to do this, because if Real Madrid have that, Real Madrid eventually has that cash available. Even a 200 million package would eventually, no one would be able to question Real Madrid, because Real Madrid's finances and the transactions are quite clear, and finances are eventually, and according to many reports as well, that from 2017, Fiorentino Perez is a great admirer of Kylian Mbappe, and despite he wanted Kylian Mbappe to be the successor of Cristiano Ronaldo as well, but eventually Vinny came. But every single year that passes, Fiorentino Perez obsession grows much more, and he has in every transfer window, Real Madrid has sold some players, Real Madrid bought some players as well, but there are some finances which are eventually allocated, which were eventually every year, which were according to this, I'm not saying by myself, it is according to many reports, that Real Madrid were saving their finances for this deal of Kylian Mbappe, and they have those finances despite carrying out the operation of Kylian Mbappe, of Jude Bellingham. Real Madrid still have that financial firepower to sign Kylian Mbappe this summer at least, and eventually they just want further confirmation. In my opinion, this would eventually be decided now in the next few days, and I think PSG are also going to react to this. I think the statements might still arrive in the morning, or probably in I think in the next 3 to 4 hours, the mouthpieces of PSG will eventually start working. The Les Parisiens, Les Equipe, French media outlets. So eventually, I think French journalists would eventually come out, and things would eventually happen through PSG as well. But Real Madrid are closely monitoring the situation. Real Madrid don't want to hurry. Real Madrid don't want uh, to face a situation like they did in 2021, where they had nothing. They had no power in their hands. It was all Kylian Mbappe and PSG at that point of time in 2021, when Real Madrid were offering 130 million for Kylian Mbappe to PSG. But this summer, it is all Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid. Real Madrid are playing those cards. Real Madrid know the ball game. PSG have leaked everything. Real Madrid have not leaked any single thing out of this reports, out of this Kylian Mbappe. Real Madrid's media houses are quiet and eventually not working in this. They are eventually working on other things as well. But the mouthpieces of Real Madrid are closely shut down, and they are instructed not to say any single thing about this saga. And eventually, this is going to happen. I think Real Madrid are playing that game. Real Madrid are playing that important game with the PSG and Kylian Mbappe. They just want clear further confirmation that PSG are closely. This is not a chess game. This is not a lying game, which Real Madrid eventually think that PSG are lying. PSG are eventually trying to create more. And everybody knows this fact, the way PSG reacted in the last few days, in the 2 days ago, about Kylian Mbappe's story, that there were many reports that even Barcelona and PSG were meeting. When Barcelona and PSG eventually have so less terms with each other, they don't really speak to each other, they don't really transfer their players to each other. So I think eventually this was all done to uh, put the pressure on Real Madrid, but Real Madrid have acted patiently. Real Madrid have not opened their cards. Real Madrid have not shown their cards to PSG, and eventually on that day as well, people were thinking that Real Madrid might make a move. Real Madrid now. It might also People might also start thinking that Real Madrid might make today a move today for Kylian Mbappe, because he is rejected. Real Madrid know one thing, that Real Madrid have an agreement with Kylian Mbappe, and PSG know this fact as well. So the time gaining strategy is there, and the one thing, the only thing which I speak is that Madrid and Fiorentino Perez are playing a ball game which PSG would not understand. Real Madrid and PSG are taking that revenge. Real Madrid and Fiorentino Perez are taking that revenge from Khalifi and PSG. The way they did, they humiliated Real Madrid in the summer of 2021 and 22. So I think this is really, really nice strategy. It is a very cool and a great strategy from Real Madrid. Bookmark this tweet, and this is my tweet which I posted on my Twitter. Do check it out as well. It's the username and the title of my page is there, foot it and ggmux hala madrid, because you all know the fact for what reason I've put this username. Bookmark this tweet: Kylian Mbappe will be a Real Madrid player before 10th August. I don't know, that's my bold prediction, but I know what I'm predicting and I know what I am speaking. So I think it will be a done deal before 10th August, or probably not a done deal. It might accelerate before 10th June and 10th August, and eventually that would not last longer. It is only this week of July and eventually the first week of August which will decide the things in this Kylian Mbappe transfer saga, because PSG don't want to stretch things out at this point of time. And I think PSG are looking forward to selling Kylian Mbappe at all cost, at every cost, and eventually things will happen in these two. I think the just wait a minute. I'm taking out some more news as well. I'm taking more news out of it as well. So I think, yeah. So I think this tweet makes sense for me at least. It might not make sense for you guys who might watch us. And eventually, I need to request you one thing, that the views aren't coming at this point of time on my channel. I'm uploading my videos. I'm uploading shorts consistently, regularly, but the views aren't coming. So I hope you guys are those ones who bring me views as well, who bring me likes as well, which eventually would motivate me to do more, because it's almost 2:30 in this in my country at this point of time at night, and eventually I have to wake up tomorrow as well, in the morning, not tomorrow, in the morning as well, to cover up the Real Madrid match as well, because I have to make the video on the review as well of Real Madrid versus Manchester United. So I hope you guys understand this and do like this stream and do subscribe to this channel as well. It would mean a lot to me. And do comment down your opinions as well, because every single opinion of yours would be respected highly, would be esteemed in high respect. So I think you guys are the ones who will subscribe to this channel and like this stream as well. So let's get on to our further updates. Marsa, it is a Real Madrid mouthpiece. You can say that. Kylian Mbappe told Al Hilal that he has no intention to go to Saudi Arabia even for 1 year. And that shows one thing, that Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid fans have started to create hype that Kylian Mbappe has rejected a 700 million offer to satisfy himself and just to join Real Madrid. So I think it would be no wonder that in the next month, Kylian Mbappe would be sitting on a seat and giving an interview the way Jude Bellingham did. And he'd be saying that, oh, I rejected 700 million from Saudi. If it would have been a matter of money, I would have gone to Saudi at least for one season eventually. So I think Kylian Mbappe's scenario is pretty much interesting at this point of time, and it's shaping up to be a very very good transfer saga in the next few days. Marsa has, after a long time, I think after so many days, and eventually it has posted about Kylian Mbappe after Fabrizio posted it as well, and that shows that Real Madrid are keeping their tabs closed, keeping their mouthpieces closed, and keeping their media outlets not leak a single news about this transfer saga. And eventually, you guys also know this fact that Kylian Mbappe, Faisal Amari, and Fiorentino Perez are those three guys who know this deal, who know what is in that Mbappe transfer saga file. That file, they are the three. They are the ones who know what is in that Kylian Mbappe transfer saga file. So I think things would happen. Things will be happening. I know I'm repeating some of my words, but you guys might be watching now, or you might be watching from the start, or probably stuff like that, so I need to repeat my things as well, so you might not miss any single of my detail as well. So I think this confirms this as well, that Kylian Mbappe has no intention of going to Saudi Arabia. Di Marzio has confirmed as well. Di Marzio is a top journalist as well. Gianluca Di Marzio, he's also one of the top tier journalists alongside Fabrizio Romano, that Kylian Mbappe has refused to even talk to Al Hilal. He has even refused to talk to Al Hilal, which eventually, I think, in my opinion, is an indirect a punch on the face of punch, you can say, or a slap on the face of Nasser Khalifi and his PSG representatives eventually. And the one thing I need to tell you, one thing as well, there are more reports regarding this as well, that the dressing room is a bit more divided in this transfer saga of Kylian Mbappe, because you all know this fact. He is the superstar of PSG, and if his transfer saga is in limelight, if his attitude, if his behavior, and the behavior of PSG towards him are in the mud, or probably like that, you can say, are not at a good point. PSG, his relationship with PSG. So I think things are really happening, and in the dressing room as well, that the dressing room, eventually some of the members of dressing room think that Kylian Mbappe is right, and some of the members of the dressing room think that Kylian Mbappe is destroying the image of PSG at this point of time, and he needs to go as soon as possible. And Marquinhos, let's talk about a bit of about Marquinhos as well, the PSG captain. He has spoken that Kylian Mbappe is a very top player of our team, and eventually I hope that his settlement happens with PSG, and eventually he returns back to the training. And in the representative between the representatives of PSG, this has been felt as a cringe. And what the hell is this cringe, bro? This should not be held as cringe. Why the hell? Because he is speaking what he wants to speak, because you cannot direct a player, you cannot direct someone. There's a right to speak as well. There's a right, there's a freedom of speech. And eventually you do not pay Marquinhos for his services. Marquinhos plays for you, and eventually you pay for them. He plays for the club. He does not play, he is not a servant of this club. He's eventually, I think you can say he's a servant, but eventually he there's a right to speak for everyone, even the servants, even uh, any person, even the poor and needy. There is a right of speech, there is a right of freedom. And eventually you cannot deny this fact that PSG are doing everything possible they should do to hurt Kylian Mbappe, to I think humiliate Kylian Mbappe at this point of time, because the Amir of Qatar have abolished their relationships. And there was a report as well that Macron might also be involved, might also come in the spotlight in this transfer saga, might again enter the scene of Kylian Mbappe's transfer saga. I think this, again, I am saying this fact that this transfer saga is not only about sporting decisions, and it is not only about the footballing terms, it is about the political terms as well. And I think these political terms with eventually, I think, would destroy his charm as well. I think he needs to perform well in Real Madrid. I think if he comes to Real Madrid and does not performs, so I think that would eventually make a whole lot of a different, a whole lot of controversies in the media. Everybody, you know the fact, you know it, you can imagine it. I can even imagine it. You cannot digest this, because if Mbappe comes, Mbappe has a worse season with Real Madrid probably, or like stuff like that. And then the media starts to humiliate Real Madrid as well, to humiliate Kylian Mbappe as well. You know, the Barcelona fan base, they would eventually tear up Real Madrid apart. So I think Real Madrid need to focus on this. And there's one more report about Mauricio Pochettino as well, when he was asked about Kylian Mbappe, that we are working on our reality. Our reality is different. From my side, nothing to say. I just hope they find a solution for both sides. I love PSG. I was a player and a coach there, and I love Kylian Mbappe. So I think that's a sensible answer. That's a pretty sensible answer from Maurizio Pochettino himself as well. That uh, you all know this fact that Chelsea will not be signing Kylian Mbappe, and Chelsea have other options as well. Chelsea have bought a striker in the face of Nicholas Jackson. They have Armando Broja. They have bought Christopher Nkunku. They have Raheem Sterling. They have Noni Madueke. They are trying to sign Michael Olise as well. So there's no room for Kylian Mbappe. And I think Chelsea are struggling to pay at this point of time 100 million fee for Caicedo. When How will they pay a 200 million fee for Kylian Mbappe when they are eventually, and Kylian Mbappe would not eventually accept an 8-year offer. The way they manipulated, and eventually they used a fair way. This was a fair way to eventually they exposed the rules of FIFA. They exposed the loopholes, and eventually they made the use of loopholes and eventually benefited themselves. So I think that was a fair way to do this, by offering 8-year contract to, I think, Mudrik, 8-year contract to Enzo Fernandez. But I think in the case of Kylian Mbappe, things will really change, and the FFP would eventually come on them as well, because Kylian Mbappe he will not be accepting an offer 5 or 6 years above his. I think it would not be an 8-year contract. So I think Chelsea is nothing in the race. Is nowhere near in the race of Kylian Mbappe. It is only Real Madrid, and only Real Madrid. There's only one horse race, and it is only about Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid. There's no more. There's nothing more. You can digest this. You can eventually confirm it anyway, that Al Hilal have eventually been out of the spotlight. I think Al Hilal might even come up with another offer. They might come up with a, who knows, they might come up with a 1.5 billion offer. Who knows this fact? They might even come up and even try to tempt Mbappe. PSG would eventually be tempted. PSG would eventually want that dude go and discuss with Kylian Mbappe. But eventually, if that would, I think, yeah, I also believe partially that if that decision would have been about money, Kylian Mbappe at the first instance would have signed for PSG. I think when Kylian Mbappe renewed in 2021, he spoke with Fiorentina Perez, and in my opinion, they must have had a discussion that you will come to Real Madrid 1 year for at once, and my dream is to bring you to the Bernabeu, and I will do anything to bring you at the Bernabeu. So I think this was happening, and this is happening at this point of time. Real Madrid need to sort everything out. Kylian Mbappe, Real Madrid are waiting for what will happen. And there's a further report as well. This is the last report in this my live stream. Fabrizio Romano, PSG are convinced that all of this is happening because Mbappe has an agreement with Real Madrid for 2024. Let's see if Real Madrid anticipate this deal in the coming days. I think this deal is anticipating by Real Madrid. Real Madrid are constantly watching this, but you know this right now. The ears are open, the eyes are open, and the mouth is closed. So I think this is the way Real Madrid are dealing this transfer saga at this point of time. There's no leakages. There's nothing to PSG. Just to ensure that they do not face a similar situation the way they faced in 2021 when they were on the knees to sign Kylian Mbappe, and PSG eventually offered him a bumper priced offer, which eventually tempted Kylian Mbappe, and he signed a new contract. So they are trying to, Real Madrid are trying, and eventually they're succeeding in it as well. They have partially held PSG on their knees, and I think they will try to make PSG bow down on their knees as well, and eventually on their toes as well. So I think this transfer saga will last in a 1 or 2 year, 1 or 2 week. I think there's nothing more in that. But let's see, let's digest this. When this happens, what would happen in on the media, on the internet? What will happen, bro? You need to digest this fact that Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid, when the comunicado official of Real Madrid comes out, and there's a heavy go of Fabrizio Romano as well to Real Madrid of Kylian Mbappe. What would happen on that instance? How will the world react? How will the world football react? I think that would eventually tear apart the internet, because after 3 years of long hardships, Kylian Mbappe finally coming to Real Madrid would eventually be fulfill one of my dreams as well. Because after Ronaldo, the player I admire the most, eventually I would not include Messi in it, because Messi and Ronaldo are both on the same levels for me, and eventually I admire them both. I respect them both as the goats. But the one player I admire after Ronaldo, and I think who can be his successor as well, who can be that guy to win the Ballon d'Ors, to win several Ballon d'Ors, despite the fact Haaland can be the one, Vinny can be the one. I will not be disrespecting Vinny, even Rodrigo, even Jude Bellingham, because these are the Madridistas, and eventually I think uh, they can win as well. But the one thing, the one player which I admire the most is Kylian Mbappe, and I think that would eventually be very satisfactory for all the Real Madrid fans who have been uh, literally suffering from the humiliation of the hands of Barcelona fan base, Arsenal, all the Premier League fan bases as well. That Kylian Mbappe again rejected them, again rejected them, again rejected them, and he would not join Real Madrid ever. I think, yeah, stuff like that, and then their mouths would be shut, and Real Madrid fans would be celebrating all around the world and just praying that eventually this deal goes through. And that's it for this live session. I need to go to sleep as well, because I have to watch uh, the match in the morning as well. So that's it, and I hope you guys have watched this. And if you guys watch this even after this live stream is over, do subscribe to this channel, do like this stream, and I hope you guys will comment down your predictions as well, your opinions regarding this, because your opinions will be held in high respect. So thank you, peace out, and I think this is probably the end